Bang nakikita ko sa TV,
Ang
yung
tanong
mga
din,
sinusurrender nila, parang mga kalawang na yun.
ang tanong din ano yung mga baril na yon? Baka mga paltik na revolver? Or baka naman 26,000 din yung baril na nakuha nila kailan ni-recycle?
Almost. Kasi sabi nga ni Senator Amy, paano naman meron isang taong rebelde, walang armas, walang bakal, paano lalaban naman yun? Diba? Kung batuta nga lang ang dala nun, mukhang hindi yata.
O baka ang dala ng palo-palo. How many firearms have been surrendered by the surrenderies and how many surrenderies you have so far? Gusto ko pagbanggain kung tama ba yung numero. Hindi? Then may problema tayong malaki, napakalaking problema.
Nakita mo yung mga sinusurrender ang sasagwa hindi naman yun ang baril nila Ang gaganda ng baril nila, talo pa tayo 50,000. Ang daming perang binibigay. Talaga bang sulit ito para sa ating mamayan? Tunay ba yung mga nagsusurrender at talaga ba yung kasangkapan na ginagamit ang siyang binibigay sa pamahalaan o mga tulad ng maraming nagsasabi, puros kalawang na lang na bakal?
Hearing today is called in accordance with the government's commitment to the attainment of a comprehensive and lasting peace. Granting amnesty is a step in the right direction of what has been a long and storied journey in the peaceful resolution of armed conflict. Army, Alex Bongkea Brigade, Communist Party of the Philippines, New People's Army, National Democratic Front, Moro Islamic Liberation Front, and the Moro National Liberation Front.
Tuwing linggo po sa misa, ang batian po natin sa isa't isa, kung kayo po'y Katoliko, ay peace be with you. Ito po ay napakahalagang bahagi ng misa kung saan ang sambayanan ay nanyahan ng pari na magbigay ng kapayapaan sa isa't isa. And that is what we are here to do now. Peace be with you. Peace be with you. Lahat po tayo gusto ng kapayapaan sa buhay. And of course, it follows that nobody wants to be in conflict. Nobody wants to take arms against his fellow Filipino. Rebels were not born for that purpose, but they are born in an environment where they were slowly drawn into such way of life. Ito naman po talaga ang nakakalungkot kasi kung tutusin, karamihan ng mga involved ngayon sa armed conflict hindi pa pinanganak nung nagsimula itong mga rebellion ng kanilang mga grupo. At ang karamihan na nagsimula, ang nagpasimuno ng mga alita na ito ay nagsimatayan na mayapa na in short. Samantala mga sumunod na henerasyon, tuloy pa din ang pagdigma sa isa't isa at malayo sa kapayapaan. Ang papapatuloy ng armed conflict po natin ay parang alitan sa mga pamilya na hindi na nila alam bakit ito nagsimula. Pero nadagdagan ang alitan. Hindi po ito natatapos dahil minsan bit-bit po ng magkabilang panig ang hinanakit ng nakaraan. And that is what the present House concurrent resolutions on the granting of amnesty is all about. To forgive and to heal past wounds. Forgiveness is the first step to lasting peace. And I'm all for this. I'm in support of the peace process. I'm in support for healing our country. Amnesty will give a fresh start for our dear rebels. And you know what? This is not just our rebels, but for the nation also. It allows our nation to be peace from within. This amnesty will definitely benefit everyone. But as it with everything that we do here, it will be a good idea if it is implemented properly. And I have some concerns. Again, I have some concerns that I hope we could address today regarding our amnesty program. First, the proper selection of the grantees of the amnesty must be clear and purposeful. The intent of the law should be reflected in the selection process. Dapat po may clear parameters and guidelines on these matters so that the grantees will be legitimate returnees and not pawns in the conflict sent to sow further discord. What parameters are being followed by the National Amnesty Commission? How are the local amnesty boards selected? And what is its composition? Second, we have to ensure that there are follow-up programs for our returnees. Last year, the Office of the Presidential Advisor on Peace, Reconciliation, and Unity, or OPAPRU, was granted a substantial budget of 7 billion pesos, which is a jump from the average 1.9 billion pesos in budget it used to have. The budget covers the National Amnesty Commission. How will this budget be utilized? 7 billion pesos. And the Pamana projects or the Payapa at Masaganang Pamayanan projects in the past, how successful were they? According to Presidential Peace Advisor Secretary Lito G. Galvez Jr., 5 billion pesos will be allocated for Pamana projects for socio-economic interventions to ensure change lives and transform communities. I hope that this will be complete follow-through for the amnesty program. Finally, let us learn from the successful peace processes in other countries and how they utilize amnesty as part of the peace process. A model of that we have been following is the Good Friday Agreement, or the Belfast Agreement, that ended most of the violence in Northern Ireland. In the said agreement, they incorporated amnesty as a final step to the decommissioning and normalization of security arrangements in Northern Ireland, and this has been proven to be successful. Mr. Chair, this amnesty is not meant to condone criminal acts, nor it is a softer stance against terrorism. Rather, this is meant to weaken terrorism. Hopefully, by taking away its followers and showing that there are alternative options to living outside the rebel groups, terrorist operations will be crippled and ultimately cease. This ultimately is our dream. This is what I want for our uniformed personnel, for them to be involved in less armed conflict from within our country. We hope that after decades of conflict, we can finally see an end to this internal conflict. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Proceed with the presentation from our resource persons. Any opening statement, Secretary Galvez?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. To the highly esteemed members of the Senate Committee on National Defense, Security, Peace, Unification, and Reconciliation, headed by Senator Jinggoy Ercito Estrada, sir. To the Office of the Presidential Advisor on Peace, Reconciliation, and Unity, headed by Senior Undersecretary Isidro Purisima. We'd like also to acknowledge Minister Raisa Jujuri, our esteemed guest from our MNLF group, Miss Maria Veronica Tabara Kainka from he's the chair of the Joint Enforcement and Monitoring Committee of our GPH RPEBB. Fellow civil servants, other resource persons present, ladies and gentlemen, good morning. Isang maganda at mapayapang umaga po sa ating lahat. I would like to extend my deepest gratitude to our dear senators for inviting us to this hearing and giving us an opportunity to share our views on a matter that is very close to our heart. Mr. Chairman, Your Honor, the granting of amnesty to former rebels was one of the most very close to my heart because I was once a rebel soldier who was granted amnesty during the administration of the late President Fidel B. Ramos. It was because of the visionary leadership of President Ramos that yours truly, together with other rebel soldiers like myself, more than 1,000 of us, regained our freedom. We were not only forgiven by the state for the charges we were committed, but most importantly, we are reinstated to the Armed Forces of the Philippines. And we were given the chance to rebuild ourselves and start a new chapter in our lives. And we all retire in the service. And we are repairing here the thousands of MLLF, MILF, Kapatiran, and former rebels from the CPP and PANDF who already laid down their arms.
During the time of President Cory Aquino, did she grant amnesty to any rebel group?
Sir, the granting of the rebel group, as we have already had the data, we have a total of 20,478.
No, during the time of President Cory?
We don't remember any.
What about President Ramos? How many?
During the President Ramos and also President Estrada, we have granted.
Did they grant amnesty to?
Yes, sir.
What rebel group?
Sir, the previous proclamation 347, all rebels and insurgents.
President Ramos.
Yes, sir. We have 348 AEP and PNP, 723 RAM SFU, then also 724 for all rebel and insurgents.
President Estrada.
President Estrada issued for amnesty proclamation to different rebel groups,
To
particularly
different rebel groups.
he continued the proclamation 347 of President Ramos, reopening and extending the proclamation issued by FBR. And he also issued proclamation to members of the MLF upon the fall of the Camp Abu Bakar in 2000. He issued a total of 4 amnesty proclamations.
For amnesty to different rebel groups.
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, President Arroyo.
He issued proclamation 1377, but it did not get the concurrence of Congress, Your Honor. And under
Why is
President
that
Cory,
so?
I'm not so sure, Mr. Chair, but she did not submit that, I think, to the Congress. To Congress, Your
So
Honor.
nothing happened during the time of President Arroyo?
Yes, Your Honor.
President Pinoy.
He issued proclamation 75, Your Honor, in 2010 and granted amnesty to members
It was
of the
concurred
Magdalo
by
Group.
both houses?
Yes, Your Honor.
What happened?
It granted members of the
How many rebel groups?
These are two groups, members of the Magdalo group of Senator Trillanes and members of the Marines under Colonel Kerubin, Ariel Kerubin, in 2006.
Okay, President Duterte.
He issued 4 proclamation, Your Honor, proclamation 1090 to 1090.
All right. Was it concurred by both houses?
With respect to the 3 rebel groups, Your Honor, it was concurred by both houses of Congress, except for the proclamation 1093 under the CPP, former members of the CPP and PNDF. It was not concurred in by the Senate, Your Honor.
Oh, the incumbent president, President Marcos.
President
4.
Marcos issued at least
4.
the senior for 10, and now it's the president's 4.
Okay, we received information that the previous amnesty granted by President Duterte and duly concurred by both houses of Congress during the last 18 Congress was not implemented. Is this true? Why is that so? It was concurred, it was already concurred by both houses of Congress, but was not implemented.
Yes,
Why is
because
that so?
because DINAC was appointed during the time of President Marcos.
Excuse me?
The membership of the National Amnesty Commission was appointed during the time of President Marcos already, and also the proclamations 1093, 94, 95, 96 expired because it was given only 1 year.
Okay, how sure are we that if we concur with these proclamations, this will be fully implemented?
Number
time.
one, Your Honor, is that the National Amnesty Commission is fully constituted. They already constituted also the local amnesty boards, and they are going around already for the information and education of the different rebel groups. So we are very
Are you confident that this will be implemented?
Yes, because
if, we concur with this particular bill,
yes, sir, because it was extended to 2 years, sir.
or else we will just waste time here if you will not implement this.
Sir, the application now is not 1 year but 2 years. Po.
All right. Can you give this committee a ballpark figure of how many rebels will benefit from this amnesty?
Sir, the projected numbers of applicants is from the MILF. We have 40,000 combatants.
MILF, how
And-
many?
40,000 combatants, and we are expecting more or less 10,000 of them. 400 individuals with cases are now applying.
Okay.
For the MNLF, we have an estimated 2,000.
2,000?
Yes, sir. For the RPE,
What is it,
RPM,
Alex Bocao?
yes, sir. We have expected 1,200.
Mm-hmm.
And then also for the CPP, NDF, more or less 39,000 already surrendered. And we are-
39?
39,000.
Okay.
And we are expecting that their regulars, more or less 70,000. So we also apply for the amnesty.
Eh, yung mga firearms nila.
Sir, the firearms of the CPP already surrendered during
How
the...
many?
We will ask the AEP.
Eh, paano yung mga bulok na mga baril na sinusurrender nila? Paano? Well, usually that's the case. Mga hindi na napapakinabangan ng mga firearms.
Sir, actually, sir, yung mga sinurrender na firearms ng CPP, honestly, sir, medyo, sir, magaganda, sir.
Serviceable pa?
Yes,
Is
sir,
it
yes, sir.
still serviceable?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay, what is the expected impact of this amnesty grant to the rebel forces in the overall campaign against the rebellion and secessionist movement?
So it will have a very significant impact considering that it might give them the signal to really most of them who are still out there to really lay down their arms and also surrender.
We noticed that the period of application provided under President Duterte's proclamation was 1 year. Am I correct?
1 year, sir. Yes, sir.
Whereas the presidential proclamations under consideration is 2 years.
Yes, Your Honor.
Can we presume that the intent is to allow more applicants to benefit from this amnesty?
Yes, Your Honor.
How fast can the Amnesty Commission process such applications?
We have already Chairman Armamento.
Yeah.
over here.
Good morning, Your Honor.
Assuming that both houses have already concurred.
Yeah.
How fast do you
Um,
process?
We, under our rule of procedure, which we have already have, we are giving ourselves 90 days to process, from the time the application is filed, to process until we submit it to the office of the president. And then we have already conducted our strategic planning, and our target is that by the time the president ends his term, we are done with the processing of all applications.
Okay, sino sino mamahala ng vetting process dito? Kayo po? How do you vet
Yeah.
these rebels?
Sir, we have the local amnesty board. With the local amnesty board, they are the ones in charge with the vetting, and then with that, we have, upon the receipt of the application, we refer the applications for vetting to the National Bureau of Investigation, the Armed Forces of the Philippines, and the Philippine National Police. And we have a 5-day period for them to return to us the data. At the same time, the applicants has also to submit his proof of identity.
Nevertheless, it came to our attention that this is a very delayed procedure. Only 12,000 of the 40,000 having been decommissioned with much suspicion about their age and their status as non-combatants and the surrender of weapons that were never serviceable in the first place. And the pandemic only made things worse, and delays persisted until 2022, when 3 soldiers were killed in Albarca, Basilan. We're also aware that in September of 2022, a third phase was supposed to begin, but in less than 1 month, a civilian was again injured in Barangay Sambolawan, Midsayap, North Cot. And thereafter, 1 month later, 3 soldiers were again murdered in a clash with the 101st Infantry Brigade. So it is very apparent that this decommissioning is key to the peace and order in the BARM area, and there is a need to investigate regarding the delays and the veracity of the decommissioned forces and the surrenderees. Are they actually the combatants that we were after? Are they in fact surrendering genuine service weapons? And when shall we see the end of this entire process? There is also a level of confusion with regard to the amount of money and the various um, benefits to be given. 2,400 US dollars or assistance of 21,000 pesos, 15,000 immediate livelihood assistance, 50,000. Ang daming perang binibigay. Talaga bang sulit ito para sa ating mamayan? Tunay ba yung mga nagsusurrender at talaga ba yung kasangkapan na ginagamit ang siyang binibigay sa pamahalaan o mga tulad ng maraming nagsasabi, puros kalawang na lang na bakal. Eto nga, ang nais nating malaman. Sa ngayon, apakalaki na ng nagastos natin, 2.613 billion po. Sa transitional assistance pa lamang. Laki-laki ng pera. So, kinakailangan malaman natin yung update dito dahil nga nauwi sa napakaraming delay. Sa 10 taon na to 2024 na po tayo. Nag-umpisa to dapat 2014.
For the information of the Honorable Senator Amy Marcos, as of this date, we already had 26,132 MILF combatants that already been decommissioned, and 4,625 firearms had been also decommissioned.
Napaka-konti naman ng baril. Di ba dapat halos magkapareho yung number niyan? Alam nga naman sundalo at combatant walang baril.
Yes, Your Honor, that's also the sentiment of the Armed Forces of the Philippines that they also want to have a 1:1. That's why we are also comparing.
Nakita mo yung mga sinusurrender ang sasagwa hindi naman yun ang baril nila Ang gaganda ng baril nila, talo pa tayo
That was what I was asking a while ago.
Di ba kanina?
They
Sabi
were
nga, mga
surrendering
kinalaman
unserviceable firearms, rusty firearms.
Then tanong ko, ba't natin tinanggap yun? 22,000 na walang baril.
Sir, Madam, we have.
Dapat hindi natin tinatanggap pag walang dalang baril, di ba? Kasi hindi naman makatotohanan na lumalaban siya na walang dalang bakal.
That makes sense, Secretary Alves. How did you accept the rebels without returning any firearms?
Sir,
The government.
the position of the armed forces and also with the government is that we are pushing to the implementing panel, because the implementing panel, the GPH and the MILF, we convey to them that the desire of the Armed Forces of the Philippines and also the security sector is to have 1:1, meaning one combatant for one firearms. They averred that the organic firearms that the MILF had is only 7,000, meaning there are three categories of the ownership. One is personally owned, one is organic owned by the MILF, and the others are being loaned from other sources. So we have also a comprehensive program on how we could manage to recover their personal firearms through the Aspire. We have already asked some localization of the governors. In fact, we already implemented it in Basilan, wherein
Sorry, Mr. Chair.
the localization implementation of the normalization program is that we involve the local government units, especially the governors.
But as we are well aware, there's quite serious tension between the BARM and the LCEs. So,
So that-
exactly how is this operable?
Sir, Ma'am, Your Honors, we deem it important that the normalization be localized through the involvement of the governors, because we hear their sentiments that in the decommissioning and also in normalization they were not involved. And true enough with their sentiments, we have some sort of a consultation with them, and this year we are implementing the localization of normalization with the involvement of all the governors in the BARM. In fact, Your Honors, we already completed the program with we initiated the program with Basilan, and last February 1 and 2, we talked with Governor Adjong and also the Vice Governor of Lanao del Norte holding the troops of Commander Bravo so that we can have also the localization. In that aspect, Madam, your concerns will be fully addressed.
Pero ang realidad, Secretary Galvez, ang totoo, nakaka-10 years na po tayo at mahigit konting 60% pa lamang ang naa-achieve natin. 26,000 pa lamang. Ang pagkaalam ko, yung target dapat 44,000. Kasi yun ang nakalista. Ang ibig sabihin nito, another 18,000, another 7 years bago tayo matapos.
Madam, the
Ang pagkaalam ko, dapat matapos to bago magka-eleksyon ng 2025.
Yes,
Yun ang
madam.
usapan, di
yes,
ba?
Yes, Madam.
But at the rate you're going, palagay ko, it will take 7 to 8 years kasi ang bagal eh.
Ma'am, we would like to clarify that the CAB was signed 2014, but the BOL was only ratified 2019. So we started the decommissioning in 2019, but it was pushed back for 3 years because of COVID-19. 2020, we have already, in 2019, we were able to fully decommission the second batch.
It's a total of how many? First batch saka second batch?
First batch is 12,000, Madam.
O tapos?
And then the third batch is 14,000. But
Hindi, yung second muna. Yung sinasabi mong natapos?
the first batch is the ceremonial of 145. The second batch is the 12,000. And then the third batch is 14,000. So we were able to complete the third batch only last August 2023 when we declared that the pandemic is already over. So meaning
Yes, Secretary Galvez, as you're fully aware, the cries for an independent Mindanao have been revived very forcefully
madam.
by former President Duterte as well as former Speaker Pantaleon Alvarez. That being the case, it's incumbent upon us to do this as quickly and as thoroughly as possible. I understand from you that you have now initiated an effort to involve the local chief executives who have been very discomfited by the entire effort.
yes, yes,
Kasi lagi lang ginagamit yung mga BTC lamang. Wala namang mga organisasyon na malaman kung sino talaga yung combatant, sino talaga yung totoong MILF na sundalo. So, nais kong malaman, what other steps are we taking to make certain that we in fact meet this 2025 deadline? Malapit-lapit na yan, isang taon na lang.
Yes, Madam. For this year, we are so happy to inform you that the DBM already released the 448 million intended for more or less 6,000 last December 29. This is coming from the unprogrammed fund of 2023.
I'm a little bit lost. Bakit pera ang sinagot mo?
Because the commission did.
Ang laki-laki na nga ng ginastos wala namang pakinabang, tuloy-tuloy pa rin ang paputok.
Because the decommissioning involves the initial cash grant of 100,000.
Is it 100,000 or $2,400? I'm
Only
confused. There are so many listings here, kaya nalilito rin yung mga mag-a-apply.
For the MILF, Your Honor, we have to give during the decommissioning and validation, we need to give an initial cash gift of 100,000 from the DSWD.
From DSWD?
Yes.
Anong tawag dyan? Anong tawag sa project?
Initial cash grant, Your
Hindi,
Honor.
anong pangalan? Anong pangalan ng project? Hindi ko alam eh. Para ma-trace ko.
Unconditional cash assistance. It is being released by DBM to us, and then it will be.
No, I'm a little bit lost. You're saying it's DSWD. I'm very familiar with their budget, and I don't think that's the item that's stated in the GAA.
It was a transitional cash assistance given lodged in our budget in OPAPRU, and it will be transferred to DSWD for the transfer and implementation. Considering that the DSWD has.
OPAP. Sa madaling sabi, OPAP.
Yes.
Yun ang hahanapin ko sa budget ninyo.
Yes,
At
Madam.
titignan yung breakdown. Yung 2.6 billion, ilan na yung surrendery dyan, yung sinasabi yung total?
The 2.6 billion is comprises already the 26,132 combatants that had been commissioned and given unconditional cash transfer.
So that's divided by 100,000 at least. So you're saying that 26,000 kaya 2.6 billion.
Yes, madam.
So you're for the 448, another 4,000 people.
Another more
4,600.
4,600, madam. Then, yes, and we have also
Lang pa yan, malayo-layo pa yan sa inyo.
we
Malayo-layo pa sa balance ninyo.
we have also budgeted for 2024 9,370.
Budgeted where?
2024 9,372 combatants.
Sa OPAP
Yes, yes, madam.
or DSWD?
Yes, madam, sa amin po.
OPAP.
Yes,
So you're seeking to complete the remainder, is that correct?
Yes, madam, in 2025.
How assured are we that that will actually happen, considering that you've taken so long in the past?
If you look at the
I
timeline,
mean, you said you will enlist the LCEs, no? The chief executives that are local. Maliban doon, is there anything else that can be done? Because this is essential, as we all know, to the peace and progress of Mindanao, and we need to do this as quickly and efficiently as possible. Maliban sa LCEs, ano pang gagawin natin para makatulong? Sabi mo, sapat na yung budget. Ano pa?
actually there is some sort of a EO70 wherein the intercabinet cluster also converges in order to provide socioeconomic packages to the combatants also. Because the conditional cash transfer of 100,000, considering that most of these combatants are from the poverty index sector. If you look at the BARM before the implementation of the BOL, they have more or less more than 60% of them are under the poverty index. So the 100,000 for us is not enough for them to be away from the poverty trap that they had. That's why we have now some interagency collaboration, including DSWD and DA, in order to have a complete social package to our farmers and also to our combatants who are engaged in
Yes,
farming.
I'd appreciate an updated record of what's occurred. Because there have been so many unsatisfactory reports about the decommissioning process. Anong ginagawa ninyo sa mga baril na na-decommission? Saan napupunta?
It was put in the in a secured area in Camp Abubakar, and it is now undergoing validation for the power
10
possibility.
years na po. 10 years? Binavalidate ng 10 years?
No,
Wala bang silbi lahat yan?
yeah,
Ang pagkaalam ko, puros kinalawang na yan. Hindi daw yung totoong mga baril.
How many are serviceable and how many are not?
all operational.
4,600
All
naman.
operational, Your Honors, because most of the combatants are using caliber 31 carbine during that time and also
Yes.
Kakaran.
No, that's precisely why I'm asking. Saan ninyo linalagay? Kasi kung talagang serviceable yan, di ba dapat tinatago o kaya
It was in a storage.
i-mission order na yan lahat? Bakit saan ba napunta yan?
It was,
Nakatambak lang daw sa kampo? Baka nagkawalaan na yan.
No, madam. I just came there in Camp Abubakar. It is a headquarters of the 1st Marine Brigade. And the IDB is taking care of that in that what we call SASA. We call it secured area. Wherein it is
No, pero sayang naman kung pwede pang gamitin like the chairman said. Bakit hindi assign yan?
Your Honors, these are decommissioned firearms. The agreement is we will put them beyond use.
So have you?
We will put them beyond use, meaning
So have you put them beyond use?
we will melt them. We have now
But you just said that they're in Camp Abubakar, so they haven't been decommissioned, they haven't been melted down, they are still serviceable. Why? 10 years?
There is a process of the implementing panel.
Isn't that too long a process, 10 taon, para lang i-render unserviceable ang baril?
Madam, this is not 10 years. We have only started in 2019, and also
Sabihin na nga natin 5 years. Ang haba naman. Madali naman mag-unserviceable ng baril, hindi naman ganun kakomplikado. At saka melting is not necessary. We all know that.
actually, ma'am, they are located in a closed band, and they are.
I understand you're telling me that there are security measures, Secretary Galvez. Ang tinatanong ko, your mandate is to turn them unserviceable and it doesn't seem to have occurred.
we are in the process of because we have an IDB in the
Yeah, but it's a 5-year process. Unang-una, napakakonti. Ikalawa, yung nahuli o na-surrender, nakatenga pa rin doon. Ba't ganun? Naguguluhan ako eh.
there is a mechanism on how to dispose, madam, and then we are just waiting for the decision on
But
what
surely a 5-year mechanism is far too long. It's
We-
very inefficient.
we will expedite, madam.
Okay, so, kasi kung di rin gagamitin o hindi naman sisirain, mas maigi, gamitin na, ipamigay na sa sundalo natin, na kulang naman ang armas.
Pwede ba yun? Pwede bang ibigay sa ating sundalo?
The agreement is it will be put beyond use, so it will be
Pero they're
melted.
not doing
It will be
it.
melted.
Mr.
Excuse
Chair,
me?
pwede, ay, sorry.
Yes,
Pwede makisingit. Sana, quick question.
with the permission of Senator
Yes,
Marcos.
Madam Senator Amy, tanong ko lang, how secured yung pinaglalagyan ng mga armas na sinurrender? And my question, follow-up to that is, how many firearms have been surrendered by the surrenderies and how many surrenderies you have so far? Gusto ko pagbanggain kung tama ba yung numero. Hindi? Then may problema tayong malaki, napakalaking problema. Namimigay kayo ng pera sa cash transfer or cash assistance, baka naman walang baril na dala is batuta lang o pat-pat, bibigyan agad ng cash. Dapat magkabanggaan yun.
That was what Senator Amy Marcos was asking a while ago. Ano ba yung ratio? Kung merong 40,000 surrenderies,
40,000 na baril dapat.
dapat 1 is
Or
to
more.
1. Or more.
Or
yes.
more.
Or more. Kasi sabi nga ni Senator Amy, paano naman meron isang taong rebelde, walang armas, walang bakal, paano lalaban naman yun? Di ba? Kung batuta nga lang ang dala nun, mukhang hindi yata.
O baka ang dala nun palo-palo.
Senator Rafi, ang pagkasabi sa atin, 26,132 ang nag-surrender.
Okay.
Ang armas na nahagip, 4,625
Oh, my goodness.
Ang
Malayo.
saksakan ng layo.
There's a big
Oo.
discrepancy with regard to the ratio. No?
Or baka naman 26,000 din yung baril na nakuha nila, kaya lang ni-recycle. Benenta o
Out
binalik.
of these 4,000 rifles or whatever, ilan yung serviceable doon? Lahat yun serviceable?
Yes, sir. 4,600.
Are you sure? Kasi
Yes,
yung mga nakikita ko sa TV,
Ang
yung mga
tanong din,
sinusurrender nila, parang mga kalawang na yun.
ang tanong din ano yung mga baril na yon? Baka mga paltik na revolver?
Normally, they've surrendered the cruiser weapons. Sir.
Ano nga po?
Uh,
Carbine?
81 mm mortars, 50 caliber machine guns.
Wag na yung mga machine guns. Ano po yung mga M16?
M16, yes, sir.
Marami? Ano yung karamihan?
Majority, sir, M16, sir. At saka M14.
Okay, excuse me, Senator Tulfo. Meron tayong representative from the MILF. Maybe you can shed light.
Marami kasing nagdududa, bulok na yung baril, tapos ang tatanda raw ng mga combatants na hindi naman daw totoo. How do we authenticate and verify in all cases, both with regard to the weaponry as well as to the identity of the said combatants?
Good morning, Your Honors. I am Raisa Jujuri. I'm part of the peace panel of the MILF. In the agreement, Your Honors, the decommissioning is for both the combatants and also the weapons. For the combatants, you would not find the numbers in the agreement itself. But after the agreement was signed, there was a meeting between the MILF leadership and the president, and that is when the numbers were discussed.
Is it correct that 44,000 was the number agreed upon?
40,000.
Sorry.
40,000.
40. Okay, so may tawad pa na 4. Okay, 40.
40,000 po. And then yung weapons, as mentioned by the good secretary, it is not really 1:1. Many of the weapons that the combatants used are not the organization's property. And therefore, there is another program to ensure that these privately owned weapons can also be submitted or given to the authorities.
Ang
But
sinasabi ninyo, kapag personal, hindi kailangan i-surrender. Tago pa rin nila kasi personal nila, hindi naman MI.
yes,
Tama
the
ba?
commitment, Your Honor, is for those that are owned by the organization.
So yung personal, tatago pa rin nila.
It will be
Kaya
under
pala
a different.
sinasabi, yung maganda, nasa kanila pa eh. Yung bulok, yun lang sinusurrender.
There is another program, Your Honor, and I think that is what the good secretary is referring to.
May nabanggit po si Secretary na yung ikatlong kategorya ng mga baril, tungkol daw sa baril na pinahiram lamang na kung sino. Sino nagpapahiram ng baril sa Mindanao?
Sympathizers, Your Honor. So some are owned by members themselves and some are owned by non-members who may sympathize with the cause of the MILF.
So kung sympathizers, okay lang na itago pa rin nila yung baril. Hindi
They-
rin sakop nito.
I think, Your Honor, that is the target of the other program, those that are not owned by the organization, but there is still a program to ensure that these weapons are brought to the.
What do you mean another program? So kaya kakapiranggot lamang ang na-surrender kasi yung sinasabi lang MILF property. Yung personal, lusot. Yung pinahiram ng sympathizer, lusot din. Ganun ba?
Hindi, I would not say lusot, Your Honor, because I think government is also extending effort to implement the other program that will allow these weapons to be brought to the authorities.
With all due respect to Senator Marcos, if I may, how will the government know if itong mga baril nito personal at hindi pagmamayari ng organization ninyo?
I think that will be there is a target.
Ano to, tiwalaan lang? O ito akin to, ito sa ano? Tiwalaan na lang, ganun lang ba yun?
Because, Your Honor, I don't think we also have an inventory of all those that are privately
Of course,
owned.
syempre lahat ng mga personal use ng inyong members, walang permit yan. Lahat yan illegal. Am I correct?
Yes, Your Honor. So the program would allow small arms to be registered, and those that cannot be registered can be part of a, I don't know
Bakit
what
hindi
the
nyo na
program
lang
is called.
i-surrender lahat, whether personal yan o pagmamayari ng organization? Kung talagang sincere kayo na magbalik loob sa gobyerno, ay surrender nyo na lahat. Pati yung mga binigay ng mga sympathizers ng MILF. Why don't you surrender everything to the government? Yes, Secretary Galvez.
Sir, we have a simultaneous program with the decommissioning. We call it SALWN, meaning the SALW program, the small arms weapons registration. That's why we choose Basilan, because we would like to praise Basilan Governor Jim Hataman, because he was able to implement the SALW, wherein 4,500 firearms had been fully registered. And it was agreed that these firearms later will be handled in some sort of a swapping with the socio-economic programs. In fact, there are instances that two MILF groups, they surrendered high-powered firearms after they were settled with the RIDO, and we saw that the power of the governor, the influence of the governor with the MILF and the MLF, we were able to gather the firearms. In fact, we have also a program National Task Force on Anti-Private Armed Group, wherein the AAP and the PNP were directed by both the SILG and the DND to recover all the loose firearms. For the information of the body, during the time that I think 2018, one of the governor in the BARM, he surrendered a sizable amount of weapons, including 12 50 caliber machine gun.
Yes.
So these are the things that we are doing simultaneously with the decommissioning, and we are also encouraging all the armed group that in the future we will also gather all the unregistered firearms.